that Paranormal Activity 4 is still scary at this point, despite the fact that it's so rigidly mathematically formulaic. Like a series of formulas for how to create scares within scenes that are blueprinted out with the rigidity of multiple Pizza Hut franchises being built that are the exact same square footage all around North America. That it's still scary despite that is a testament really to how well conditioned we are as horror movie fans to find stuff like goofy Vincent Price lighting and jump scares and slamming doors scary, because there's not much to it other than that at this point. There's not much new. It's a series of characters who for some reason or another find a reason to videotape each other in secret inside their soulless kind of semi-empty suburban house as they're tormented by some kind of monster demon from some kind of future past witch coven Belial. I have no idea what. I can't really follow them at that point, despite actually kind of liking the series. And it's really just an excuse to construct a bunch of absolutely classic jump scares. And Paranormal Activity 4 has a bunch of them, almost none of them new, although there are occasional few little innovations, like the demons discovered ways to fling knives around that it doesn't really done before, which is borderline interesting. The interesting thing about the Paranormal Activity series is that the filmmakers are usually canny enough to have minor innovations from film to film. The innovation in the third film, of course, being that the character decided to tape a camera to an oscillating house fan so that the camera, the surveillance camera, could pan back and forth, and that ended up being used to great effect. The innovation in the fourth film is this kind of spooky IR camera that stipples the living room and everybody in it at night with these green glowing IR dots to help the camera see at night. And it ends up being used in some of the scariest shots in the film, but we've seen it all before, and especially in the case of the way that the film resolves, again without much resolution for the kind of threadbare story that runs through all four of the films. It's absolutely nothing we haven't seen before. At all. There's shots we haven't seen before, like with the IR camera, but that's basically it, and they aren't used very often. So, there's a time limit, a big ticking clock counting down on how much longer this series can hold the attention of its largely teenage, kind of early 20s crowd, because it's like when your boyfriend jumps out at you from behind the shower curtain when you're going to the bathroom. He's been hiding in there for half an hour. First time's scary, second time's scary, third time's pretty scary, fourth time's still scary, and eventually it just diminishes, because I think that's what mathematicians call the law of your boyfriend being less scary over time. So what should you watch instead? Watch a film that a lot of people dismissed because they didn't expect it to be a goofy, idiotic, more of the same horror movie. Like when you see Paranormal Activity 4, you don't expect it to be anything great, so you can be entertained by how, simplistic its scares are, and it's kind of worth seeing, especially if you want to be diverted. But if you want to see something that's much better, that was overlooked because people expected something even better than it actually was, go watch Prometheus, that came out earlier this summer, that a lot of people dismissed because they expected it to be something much better than it was, because it's Ridley Scott's return to the genre that he created with Alien, etc., some philosophical masterpiece, and it wasn't. It's just a sci-fi horror movie exactly in the vein of the original film that ends up being really scary if you can watch it in the mind space of just wanting to watch a scary movie about people in the IR stippled future getting chased around by aliens. It's really scary if you let it be, and if you don't have kind of overinflated weird expectations about what it could be, which is fair enough because that's what the filmmakers were hyping it to be. So don't believe their hype. Watch it as a scary movie instead on the really well put together, super polished Blu-ray that just came out. And if you haven't seen it at all, go watch it with that in mind, and hopefully you enjoy it.